Hello friends, Ace Botany next episode. In this episode, we'll be discussing chapter number 8, Cell, the Unit of Life, under which 8.5, 8.5.1, 8.5.2, mainly eukaryotic cell, cell membrane, cell wall. As a quick reference, to save time, some items I already typed in the material. So we can save the time because quick mode means time has to be saved. So I will share the screen for convenience and we can continue. I think screen came, so we can proceed. Okay, quick reference, Unit of Life, Part 4, Chapter number 8. Now eukaryotic cell, cell membrane, cell wall. All references based on NCERT, reprint edition, March 2024. So first two diagrams you are familiar. A typical plant cell and animal cell has been shown. And for usual theory question, it is a diagram-based question. For NEET exam, it is a labeling question, etc. And we can also find the differences from these two diagrams. So first page, I think it is clear. So we can proceed to next page. So we are starting with our first idea, eukaryotic cell. So what is meant by eukaryotes or eukaryotic cells? What is the meaning? It means organisms or cells with, one second. Okay, organisms or cells with well-developed membranes. With well-developed membranes. So protection is there. Membrane, covered cell organ. Covered cell organs. Similarly, presence of a prominent nucleus. Prominent nucleus. Then only we can call it as a eukaryotic cell. Similarly, we can find presence of extensive compartmentalization. Extensive compartmentalization. Another feature for eukaryote. Then we can find locomotory structure. So movement, locomotory structure. Then structural framework, that is cytoskeletal structures. Cytoskeletal structures. So this all showing advancement structures. Then chromosomes seen. Chromosomes seen. Present. So these all belongs to eukaryote. And among eukaryote, we can find plant cell and animal cell. But they are different. Major differences include diagram, again, NCERT diagram. When we come to plant cell, we can find there is a cell wall. There is a large central vacuole. Presence of plastids. These all structures absent in animal cell. That is why I put in this manner. Now, when we take animal cell specifically, we can find centrioles are present in animal cells. But in plant cell, it is absent in almost all plant cells, not 100%, almost all plant cells, almost all plant cells, centrioles are absent. While animal cell, it is present. I think difference is clear. It is a theory question, NEET model question, etc. We can proceed to next page. Now, we are entering into first item, that is eukaryotic cell is over now cell membrane. So NCERT clearly says detailed structure of membrane available only in 1950s. 1950s, so after 1950s. Why? Because discoveries like electron microscope, because it is needed. It was developed in after along with the 1950s developed. So beautiful large figures we can observe. Then chemical studies was done in the chemical studies. Each milestones in the development, chemical studies was done in, especially in human RBC. RBC. Given a possible structure. Given a possible structure. So evolving. Now, two main chemicals connected with the cell membrane are lipids. One is lipids. Other is proteins. Two main chemicals. The main lipid were phospholipids, and that arrangement is in bilayer, which is arranged in bilayer. So functional aspect is the bilayer. Arrangement of lipids within the membrane. That is a special type of arrangement, that is hydrophilic, water-loving, polar head. towards outer side. Diagram clear there. So towards outer sides. Then hydrophobic, water hating, non-polar tail to the inner side. And this type of arrangement is a famous term. It is called amphipathic. Famous question. Amphi means both. Amphipathic. I think idea clear. Now we can proceed to next page. This is NCERT diagram labeling question. Now, next page we can proceed. So this arrangement gives the protection, or protection is given to non-polar tail of saturated hydrocarbons from aqueous environment, because water should not come in contact. I think that idea clear. So purpose is clear. Now cholesterol seen, cholesterol present in the phospholipid membrane. In the phospholipid membrane. So cholesterol is present. Diagram also we can identify it. Carbohydrates seen in the membrane. Now, ratio between proteins and lipids important. Are variable in different cell types. So we cannot directly say proportion. So ratio varies in different cell types. In human RBC, that is NCERT data, membrane approximately. In human RBC membrane approximately, the data is important. 52% proteins and 40% lipids. So important value. Now, based on ease of extraction, how we can extract it, ease of extraction, two types of membranes. NCERT diagram is very clear, two types of membranes. Membrane proteins, not membrane proteins. So based on ease of extraction, there are two types of membrane proteins. One is surface protein, that is on the outer surfaces. Other is integral, deep inside. That is how the term came. Now, most famous model is for cell membrane is a famous question again. It is fluid mosaic model. Proposed year was 1972 according to NCERT, and the phrase given by him, that is two scientists, Singer and Nicholson. S.J. Singer, G.L. Nicholson, two famous scientists. So protein iceberg in a sea of lipids, a famous statement. An exception we can find in human RBC membrane, where we can find 52% protein and 40% lipid. So fluid mosaic model, protein iceberg. So iceberg is equivalent to protein less. In a sea of lipid, lipid means sea, so it is more. But in membrane of RBC, it is different. I think idea clear. Now we can continue. Now, according to this model, another idea coming, quasi-fluid nature. Quasi means semi, half, that way. Quasi-fluid nature of lipid. Quasi-fluid nature of lipids. Semi-lipid, that way. Enables. Why that way it is arranged? There is a function for enables. Lateral movement, sidewise. Lateral movement, comma, movement of protein. So each word is important. So movement of proteins within the overall bilayer. This ability, that's the usual question, this ability, hormones, etc., to move within the membrane. So important items directly from NCERT. Within the membrane is, I'm just turning the page, is supposed to be, now comes the term, supposed to be its fluidity. It's fluidity. It's an important term, theory entrance question, and it's directly given in NCERT page number 94. NCERT page number 94, it is specifically given important. And fluid nature of the membrane. Again, some advantages are there. Fluid nature of the membrane. Also helps in cell growth. See, so many phenomena. Cell growth, secretions. Then endocytosis, how things are taken in. Endocytosis, cell division. All this can be explained. And even last item, formation of intercellular junctions. See the advantages, quasi-fluid nature. Then most important, one most important function of cell membrane is to transport, conduct. There's another function, transport molecules across it. The membrane is, for this conduction, membrane is selectively selectively permeable, important term, selectively permeable to certain molecules present on either side of the membrane to pass through it. Now, passive transport, that means, yeah, passive transport means passing through the membrane. Passive membrane without energy, no energy needed. Now, natural solutes, they can move by simple diffusion across the membrane based on concentration gradient. Water can also move based on, again, concentration gradient. Now, osmosis. So what is osmosis? Osmosis is a type of diffusion based on concentration gradient. But remember, when we say osmosis, there should be semi-permeable membrane. Semi-permeable membrane. I think up to it is clear. Now we can proceed to next page. Now, sometimes a carrier protein is required, or carrier is required to transport when especially, your S is missing, I think. Yes, especially for polar molecules. Especially for polar molecules. Okay, so especially for polar molecules. Yeah, S is needed. Okay. Then why or how it is? Cannot pass through. It cannot pass through the lipid bilayer and non-polar. So such condition, a carrier is needed. And that type of conduction is called facilitated. Sometimes energy needed. And it is called active transport, active in nature. Example is sodium potassium pump. Now comes the next layer, cell wall. When we come to cell wall, we can find it is non-living nature. That itself is a question. Rigid. It is rigid. And it is present in algae, plants, bacteria, fungus that are written below. And functions include gives strength. Strength will be given. Rigidity. Rigidity will be given. Protection. Since it is outer layer, protection. And cell-to-cell interaction. Cell-to-cell interactions through cell wall. It also acts as a barrier. So each structure has got functions. Now, algal cell wall. It is important that for items cellulose, galactans, mannans, and minerals like calcium carbonate. Other plants, it is cellulose, hemicellulose, pectins, and proteins. While in fungus, we can find cell wall is made up of chitin. And in bacteria, it is peptidoglycan. Now, in young plant cell, it is primary in nature. So able to grow. At maturity, what happens? Primary wall diminishes. So a secondary wall will be developing on inner side. Now comes middle lamellae. That is cementing substance glue between two plant cells, mainly made up of calcium pectate, according to NCERT, holds neighboring cells like a glue, middle lamellae. So connection between two cells, it is cementing. Middle lamellae is cementing. So connection has to be done. It is done by another structure called plasmodesmata, connects the cytoplasm of two adjacent cells. That is regarding this episode. I think idea clear. If you like this episode, subscribe or like it, share it, comment on it. Channel name is Ace Botany and I'm daily putting 2 questions together first year and second year. So subscribe Ace Botany, so you'll be getting all this. Detailed note already there. Complete notes given in YouTube. So for time being, we can wind up. We can meet later. Take care. Bye. Thanks.